What's going on YouTube? Uberman here. So it's been just over 2 years, and I thought now was a good time to do a review video of my experience with Uber. Any of you that have been watching my channel for some time have seen that Uber and I have had some issues with one another. I've been suspended a couple times. I've been reinstated. I've been called multiple times from corporate office. It's been an interesting 2 years. Now, some of the things I'm going to say are probably going to sound discouraging, and I really don't mean to discourage you. But these are my experiences, and I'm just going to tell it like it is. When I started Uber 2 years ago, rates were $2.50 something cents a mile here in Oklahoma City. It's something like that, somewhere around $2.50 a mile. It was nothing to go work a few days a week and pull in $600. Nothing at all. Things have changed. In my market right now, we are at $1 a mile. So it's more work, more driving, more mileage, not as much money. But I have made Uber work, and that's the trick. That's what I really want to emphasize to you guys. It's not how Uber works for you, okay? It's how you make Uber work for you, okay? Uber is not just going to magically put money in your pocket and send you customers. There's a lot of strategizing that needs to go in to being an Uber driver. I know that the way they advertise it, it's real simple. You get a phone, you push a button, and you start making money. It doesn't work that way. It never has worked that way. It never will work that way. You need to learn the beat of your city, okay? There are times, there are places. You need to know when and where to be. I'm not going to make this another intro to Uber video. I'm just trying to tell you that you cannot expect to turn on a phone and start getting paid, okay? That's unrealistic. You're going to have to work for your money. The Uber app has come a long way in 2 years. Oh God, it's come a long way. The Uber app is so much better now than it was back then. Unfortunately, it's still plagued with bugs. You know, visually, aesthetically, the app looks a whole lot better. But we're still plagued with a ton of issues, a ton of bugs. You know, from the times that I used to be able to go out for a few days and make $600, now I can go out and work a Friday and a Saturday, catch surge, and yeah, I can do 300 easy on a weekend. You know, maybe 8-10 hours tops. But guys, a lot of people say Uber doesn't work, Uber doesn't pay, Uber's not worth it. You know, that may be so. I can't speak for every person in every market, obviously. I can only speak for my own experiences. But what I can tell you is that I moved from Oklahoma to Indiana. I lived 3 hours away from Indianapolis, which was the market I worked in. I had never been to Indianapolis before in my life, never driven in Indianapolis, didn't know my way around, knew nothing, knew nobody up there. Guys, I survived for almost an entire year in a place that I was completely unfamiliar with, a brand new market. I did fine. I only worked the weekends because it was a 3-hour drive to Indy. It was a 3-hour drive back. I did that on Friday and Saturday. I drove 6 hours to get to work and back for Uber. I was able to support myself and my family, kids, all of us. I was able to support us all on those 2 days a week in Indianapolis. Some weekends I drove a little town called Bloomington, home of Indiana University. Did just fine there too, little college town. And then in Oklahoma, I've driven the Oklahoma City market and the Norman market. And I've done just fine here as well. So maybe it's just luck. Maybe it's just a coincidence. I don't know. But I have survived in 4 markets with no issue at all. And, you know, it's not like I went from one market and went just straight to another one that I was familiar with. I went somewhere that was foreign to me, completely foreign to me. I might as well have been a brand new Uber driver. And even worse than that, a brand new Uber driver that didn't know my way around. You know, when people tell me where they want to go, I have no clue. You know, I still maintain my rating. My rating wasn't as good as it is here, obviously. My rating was a 4.78. My rating here is a 4.8. Some of you probably have a better rating than I do, and that's fine. I accept that. I can't be the best at everything. as far as I'm concerned, from my personal experience, there's money to be made with Uber. Even at $1 a mile, I still do it. And I run several Facebook groups. And I may not post so much in them anymore, but I do watch what's going on. And I see plenty of drivers that are still out here making money in my market, in Indiana, all over the place. It's not so much about Uber isn't profitable anymore. It really comes down to you need to reorganize. You need to strategize. That's not for all markets. Obviously, there are some markets that are just not profitable. Okay, I don't know all of them in particular. I'm not going to go into specifics on which markets are the bad ones. But there are markets that you probably don't want to drive in. But I still believe, as I did when I first started, that Uber's a lifesaver for a lot of people. Okay, I was in a bad spot. I had lost my 6-figure business. I had just gotten divorced. I had lost 3 houses, went over $80,000 into debt. I was in a bad way. I was in a really bad way. I was living in a mobile home. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's not where I prefer to live. Personal preference. I'm not saying anything negative about anyone that does live in a mobile home. It's just not my preference. I was doing bad. I went from having everything and I lost it all, just like that, in the blink of an eye. And I saw a YouTube ad for Uber. And I didn't believe it. It said make $50,000 a year driving for Uber. 50 grand wasn't what I was used to, but it sure beat what I was making doing nothing. So I signed up, and let me tell you something. I broke that 50 grand the first year. I did. Again, personal experience. Your results may vary. Blah blah blah. I'm not trying to be unrealistic. But from my experience, I've done just fine with Uber. And of course now, yes, I have referral bonuses that come in and kickbacks from a few things here and there. So I do well without Uber, but I still do Uber. I'm going to do Uber until either Uber doesn't exist anymore or they terminate me for something. And I'm going to continue telling it like it is. I do not fear backlash from Uber. And I know a lot of people out there believe that I'm an Uber shill, but you would have to be in my position. You would have to have come from where I came from to understand why I believe in Uber so strongly now. I wish they paid me for it. I do. I wish they paid me to basically advertise for them, but they don't. This is for the people that are in a bad spot, like I was. I was not doing well, okay? I was not doing well at all, and I won't say that Uber saved me. I saved myself, but Uber was the vessel that I used to get from where I was to where I am now. And another key with Uber is it doesn't just have to be about driving. That's how it starts. You start out driving, but as you drive people, you're interacting with other people all the time. They ask questions, you ask questions, you communicate with each other. And before you know it, you've made a connection. Maybe this turns out to be a future boss, a future business opportunity. Who knows? It's more about networking than it is driving. You would be surprised how many jobs I've been offered just from talking to passengers. And you're going to drive a lot of well-to-do passengers around, okay? So this could lead to a whole other business opportunity. This could lead to a brand new career for you. For me, I never accepted any of the jobs. I'm happy with where I'm at. I really enjoy what Uber's provided for me, but it wasn't handed to me. Okay? You have to know how to use Uber to your advantage. And there's a lot of ways of doing that. There's sometimes it's just not profitable to drive, okay? For me, I prefer to drive surge only, weekends only. Special events, I will make an exception for special events. It's typically surging during those times. You just have to know where to be, when to be. And guys, once you figure that out, a lot of you will find that you are making a whole lot more money than you were before. With that being said, this video is getting long. I want to move on to something else. I do not believe that Uber is a good full-time job. okay? Not at all. I think if you're looking into doing this full time, it's going to be a real heartache. It's going to be a real hassle. It's going to be very difficult for you. Uber is best suited for people that are looking for fairly decent part-time income. When you start pushing full time and you're working those 40, 50, 60 hours, some people work 80 hours a week, I can see why it's difficult. You're working a lot of hours that it's just not that busy. You have a lot of downtime. Your expenses go through the roof. Part-time, guys. This video is a no BS. I'm telling it like it is. Okay? I don't want anybody to think I'm an Uber shill, so I'm going to tell you the facts as far as I'm concerned. Uber's great for me. It's part-time, very part-time, and it pays very well for those part-time hours that I work. As far as people saying that driving passengers around will destroy your car in a year, let me tell you something. I've got over 2 years in. Never had a car destroyed. Never. Never even had a car break down for that matter. I started with a Honda Fit. It had over 100,000 miles. It was an '07 Honda Fit. I called it the Ratmobile. Over 100,000, I think it had 107, 110,000 miles when I started with Uber. I drove that thing for over a year, and that includes up in Indiana and Oklahoma. That car, when I got done with it, had 140-something thousand miles on it. Never had one issue. The car looked just as good the day I got rid of it as it did the day I got it. No issues at all. Wearable items, sure, tires, brakes, oil changes, that's normal, okay? That's what your IRS tax deduction is for. Okay, you take the deduction for mileage, the standard deduction, and it helps compensate you paying into taxes by giving you a discount. Call it a discount. It's a deduction for the expenses you pay maintaining your car. So you can't really use that too much because you're pretty much getting that money right back in your pocket by not having to pay taxes on that amount of money that you're given as a deduction. So the Kia Optima, 2013 Optima, that car has got almost 60,000 miles on it now. I got it with 24,000. Again, never had a problem out of it. No issues. Car's not destroyed. It's in just as good condition now as it was when it got put into service for Uber. Same thing with the 300. I've got about 12, 13,000. The car's got 127,000 miles on it now. No issues. It's not damaged. Hasn't been destroyed by Uber. So for those people that say your cars get destroyed, I mean, maybe if you keep one car for Uber over 3 or 4 years, I could see it getting kind of torn up, yeah. But I prefer to change cars regularly. Every year, 2 years, I think you'll be fine. Just get rid of your car every couple of years and get another one. And I still say use a car that's not too expensive for Uber. I'd say keep it under $8,000 if you're going to be doing UberX. Try to keep it cheap, reliable, easy to maintain. But guys, my outlook on Uber today is still very optimistic. Yes, they've got some legal troubles. Yes, they're going through some changes. The company's still growing. But I'm not an Uber shill. I'm not. I'm a guy that had nothing and lost everything. And Uber helped me get to where I am today. And I'm very thankful for that. So, yes, I will fight for this company. I will back this company so long as I believe in what they're doing. I do not agree with the way they've been cutting rates. I do not agree with them increasing the Safe Riders fee, which is to some extent giving themselves, it's not to some extent, it is. They're giving themselves a raise while cutting pay to drivers. I don't agree with that. I'm not okay with that, okay? It's not all sunshine and roses and rainbows, guys. But I can still make money with Uber. A lot of people still can. Some of the things they're doing is not fair. I do not agree with them. But at the same time, I look at it from the big picture. I look at the big picture from where I came from and where I am today, and Uber helped me get there, and I'm still doing well with Uber, even just as a driver without referral bonuses. So are a lot of other people. So guys, that is my 2-year review. I'm still quite happy with Uber, and I think if you give it a shot and you really pay attention and learn your city and learn the times and places to be, you can do well too. As always, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Be safe out there, and Uber on.